Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. My gratitude to Invest3 for inviting me to this important conference centered on one crucial aspect of our path towards economic recovery. I appreciate you organizing online engagements like these to inform more people about ways that we can all work on to help our country and our people recover from this unprecedented pandemic. Economic growth dropped by negative 9.5% in 2020, the most since 1946. But this index does not reflect the country's solid foundations. After all, the Philippines had a 21-year growth streak all the way up to year 2019. Our economy is slowly recovering after easing of restrictions and starting of our national vaccination program. The BSP attributes the rebound to higher consumer spending, to infrastructure spending, a more flexible monetary policy, and global recovery. In fact, the GDP is projected to rise 6.5% to 7.5% this year and 8% to 10% in 2022. Statistically, MSMEs make up over 99% of all enterprises in the Philippines. MSMEs also account for a large percentage of our country's GDP and employ more than half of our workers. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has made our MSMEs vulnerable. Due to the restrictions, many firms have closed, affecting our economy. In a market with low demand, businesses were obliged to adapt and use various strategies to stay relevant. And in order to adjust to the new normal, most businesses implemented alternative work arrangements for their staff. Many firms turned to using internet channels. For some, this was insufficient. They needed also government's help to survive the COVID-19 pandemic. So, to address the negative effects of COVID-19 on enterprises and companies in the Philippines, the recently passed Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises or CREATE Act was passed. To increase economic activity and migration, the law seeks to reduce financial burdens on these enterprises. Government also provided direct financial help, credit facilities, financing arrangements, and low-interest loans to our MSMEs. This allowed them to grow and create more jobs, giving them a fighting opportunity to recover from the pandemic. After all, MSMEs are important drivers of economic growth and the backbone of our economy. Therefore, helping them recover is absolutely critical. We passed the Republic Act 11032, the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act, to improve our country's ease of doing business, to streamline government operations and reduce turnaround times, making all transactions more efficient. This was actually one of the President's first statements at his 2016 State of the Nation address. Achieving competitiveness and ease of doing business is mandatory for the President. RA 11032 actually also established the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA, tasked with enforcing the law, implementing rules and regulations, and monitoring the national policy on anti-red tape and the ease of doing business. The pandemic has compelled most government institutions to digitize their processes, and most agencies now operate online and have shortened processes to better serve our people, especially those confined to their homes. Now, before the pandemic, we had a lengthy history of structural reforms and sound macroeconomic policies which laid the path for considerable capital and liquidity buffers in the banking sector. During the pandemic, the BSP and our national government worked together to execute stimulus packages, programs, disaster relief measures, and moratoria. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has granted time-bound regulatory and operational relief measures to BSP-supervised financial institutions. The BSP aided the national government by providing short-term loans, and as a result, the financial system received around $42 billion in liquidity. Governor Benjamin Diokno recently identified the Philippine banking system's three core strengths. The banking industry has a strong capital position. To avoid slipping below the BSP and BIS minimum limits of 10% and 8%, banks must maintain capital adequacy ratios above these thresholds. As a result, the industry's risk-based capital adequacy ratio was 17.2% in September of 2020. Financial institutions also have sufficient cash reserves to assist them to weather short-term liquidity issues and provide long-term funding. The liquidity coverage ratio for universal and commercial banks is roughly double the statutory level of 100% as of November of 2020. Minimal liquidity ratios of stand-alone thrifts, rural banks, and cooperatives continue to surpass even regulatory standards. The increase in bank assets due to increased deposit obligations is the last aspect to examine. And at the end of December 2020, banking systems assets were 19.4 trillion. To summarize, these factors aided the country's financial sector. We expect an uptick in economic activity with our national vaccination program increasing momentum in progress. On crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding creates a diversified source of funding from individuals or businesses. It is a way of financing where you take tiny sums of money from many people who are interested in your project or business concept. Individuals or firms interested in your business can invest in it by contributing to its capital. In a sense, it allows for capital infusion, but only under certain conditions, including profit sharing or a stake in your company's equity. The investor's contributions and benefits may differ depending on the internet platforms, the firms, and initiatives. The sources of funding might range from gifts to equity, resulting in a variety of processes and contractual arrangements between the firm and the individual investor. With all of these options, crowdfunding expands the reach of financial infusion. Sourcing finances and explaining the necessity to support your firm builds relationships. It builds your network of clients, customers, and investors. Crowdfunding then facilitates the infusion of much-needed cash or capital and, at the same time, provides an opportunity to scale up potential investors and allows for much-needed review in terms of process gaps, resource mobilization, and even human capital investment. Now, to conclude, government remains resolute, absolutely resolute, in taking the necessary measures to deal with this pandemic as we move forward, balancing public health concerns with reviving our economy. So let us all continue to work together to inform the banking and financing sector and the industry players, including our MSMEs and our kababayans, that we need concerted efforts and collaborative actions in all our aspirations and undertakings as an industry, as a community, and as a nation. Kailangan natin magtulungan. We can begin doing our share by encouraging your employees, neighbors, friends, and relatives to participate in the national vaccination rollout. This collective action will move us forward with our plans and look for growth opportunities for the banking industry as we contribute to the country's economic recovery. I'm calling on all of you to remind your family, friends, relatives, colleagues, and all the people in your lives the importance of getting vaccinated, not only for public health, but also for our economy. Allow me to reiterate the message from our experts. The best vaccine is the one that is available. All vaccines with EUA are safe and effective, and no one is safe until everyone is safe. So please get vaccinated immediately. Thank you very much, and I wish everyone a fruitful conference.